Hello and welcome to a new episode of Glenmaroch Lane, but this time it's the first of a new series, Building the, and this time it's Building the Shed. So in today's episode, we're going to take a closer look at how we built the shed. This is the second shed we built for this one. The first one we installed 12-volt bulbs and it didn't go to plan, as you might have seen in the little build episode I did previously. So in this episode, we're going to build a brand new shed and we're going to put some LEDs in it this time. So as you can see, we're starting off with the Modelux shed. This is the Cheltenham Road 2-road engine shed, 28 quid. That's direct from the manufacturer's website. First thing we do, we get everything unpacked and take a look at the kit. Now, I've got to say, these kits look lovely, but the one thing that lets this kit down massively is the instructions. They are not very detailed. You will hear me refer to them time and time again as we go through this build. The instructions are atrocious. You've just got to figure it out using a couple of diagrams best you can. So, beginning the build on this kit, we're going to put the walls together. I figured that would be a good place to start. Check all the pieces out, make sure we've got what we need for this section. I'm using rocket card glue. Just basically assemble it piece by piece. Now, like I said, the effect that this gives, this layering of card, that 3D effect, it is absolutely lovely. But it is not described very well on the instructions, especially when it comes to things like the roof and some of the other detailed bits. But anyway. Now I think you can see, the 3D look is absolutely stunningly amazing. Yeah, it's a simple case of build one, build the other. Now these walls were quite easy to assemble. This is the most complicated part of the job, is doing the two end plates, because they're quite thick, so that you have some shoulder cards that you need to put in to create like a box section effectively. It's just a case of cutting the parts out of the laser cut sprue and literally just assembling them as you would. Now, once you've assembled the thing, you've got some paper that you need to glue on to hide the card. It covers the corners. Stops the card from showing on the corners of the pillars. That's the main purpose for it. And again, as I said before, you build one end, you build the other. They are literally identical. So once you've assembled both ends, everything's dried, you end up with this box section. Just needs a roof now. And here we go with the roof. Again, we just cut everything out of the laser cut sprues. The roof joists have already been removed and they come in a separate packet. yeah, once you've removed everything, it's just a case of assembly. There is some guidance in the instructions on how to do this, and I'm doing my very best to follow what they say. However, at this point, I would like to mention that I think now is before you start this roof, is an extremely good time to glaze it. Do it in panels of I think it's 4 in it. Do it in panels of 4. And just cut the glazing slightly bigger than the window if you're going to glaze your roofing structure. Once the roof has been installed into the building, it becomes extremely fiddly, and once the panels have been installed to the roof trusses, that alone just adds a little bit more fiddliness. I left glazing till the very last job and I regretted it. I wish I'd done it now, so word of warning for you. So as we wrap up the roof build, last few bits glued on. Basically that was quite a relatively straightforward and relatively easy way of putting the roof together. It did go together quite well. And the finished structure looks pretty cool. After this, we did fill these holes and added a bit of texture to the roof, and then painted it grey, and then weathered it. But before we get to that, we're going to crack on with the lights. Now this is the equipment we're using, these extremely small LEDs. Now before we put 12-volt lights in, which were much thicker cable and a lot harder to hide, these have extremely thin cables on them. They're like a warm white. So basically we just start by super gluing them into the structure and threading the wires through, using the center, underside of the center beam as being the main place that we actually glue to bring them all through. Now, I figured it'd be easier, rather than trying to extend wires, just to go to the maximum reach of the furthest wire and then have the main connection wires there, which happen to land where I am now in that section there. So then we do the 4 lights remaining at the back and then feed them through to the front the same way. Once you're complete, you end up with something that looks a little bit like that. Lots and lots and lots of wires. It was a bit of a fiddly job unravelling them all and getting them to, all of them to connect up to, first of all, a resistor and then onto the main wire cable. Once complete, you just cut a couple of strips of card, roughly the width, and glue them over the top of the wires. It just hides your eyes from them. And then we connect it to a 9-volt battery, test it, and here you go. This is what's left. And this is the result once you install it onto the layer. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. I know it's short and sweet, but that's how we like it. We're going to do a few more of these. We're going to take some pretty close looks at how we did the canopy, how we did the lift out section for the distillery. We're going to take a look at the wiring in a bit more detail. There's plenty more to come in this series. Episodes will slip in between the layout updates and the little build. But if you enjoyed that, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel massively. And I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time.